All right, I want to have a talk about why I started this channel to begin with. And March 7th of 2018 is my first video, and how that plays in the context of where we are today with the mass hysteria, the madness of a crowds that we're dealing with. No other way around that. The sole reason to start my channel is simply because I wanted to dispel the fear, to break the spells that you need billions and millions and trillions of dollars to retire. I've been doing this. I started my career at Vanguard in April of 1998. I studied investments before that while I was a student of economics in George Mason. I read a lot of literature, and I like to read. I'm a I read a lot, man. I enjoy reading, but I've also had an experience in financial planning, and as such, my reading plus my experience in dealing with clients, I just could see I've seen it a mile away that there's this fear that you have to stay in your crappy corporate job or else you'll never retire. And I saw that while I was working in an actually relatively good corporate job with USAA until they changed. And then I said, this is nuts. You don't have to do this. Well, I could never say that at USAA or my previous firms because you got to scare people to keep plugging away, plugging away. You got to scare people with the silliness of the Dalbar study, which says you're too dumb to handle your investments. You got to turn it over to a money manager. You got to scare people like Fidelity that you need $300,000 the day you retire to cover your health expense, and that does not include long-term care. You got to scare people like Genworth does that you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars of long-term care. And how you're going to pay for that. It's just the whole thing. And just a fear mongering of the financial industry has kept people in crappy corporate jobs where they're literally working themselves to death. And the impetus was two things to start my channel. I started following this guy named Miles Beckler at milesbeckler.com, who you should follow. I just love that guy. And he just gave me the strategies on how to do it. Just, do it, be you, but do it and do it and do it. And this is what I was telling him. I texted my man Amar the other day, Amar Shaw, who I love, at Client First Capital Learning is his YouTube channel. Client First Capital Learning. And I said, if you're going to do YouTube, you just got to do it consistently every day. You got to do it every day. And I was texting him, said, you just got to do more videos. And he does interviews, which I think is pretty cool. But I said, you got to be consistent. Just get it out there and be consistent. And that's what Miles taught me. Miles said, look, if you're going to do this, you just got to take the bull by the horn and do it. But you can't kind of half-ass it. You can't. You got to just go straight for it. And then I saw my man Dustin Tibbetts over at Jazz Wealth, and he had done a video on he's the only guy who did a video basically saying it's okay to borrow from your 401k. And that's why I've always had nothing but the utmost respect for my man Dustin at Jazz Wealth. Just a wonderful financial planner, just a good guy who's got a great YouTube channel. And I said, there's an opportunity out here for me to break through the clutter, because there isn't any clutter, because I'm the only guy out there essentially saying you don't need millions and billions to retire. There's other people like Dustin and stuff. He's more of an investment guy, more so than a financial planner. And I'm not saying he's not a good financial planner, but he likes the investment world, which frankly, I don't even know what the market did yesterday. It just bores me. Anyway, and then on top of it, all the investment guys out there saying, oh my goodness, the Dalbar study says you can't even beat the average return. And, the average investor doesn't beat the average return. Oh my goodness, you need my help. And I'm going to charge you 1.25. Hold on a sec. You may be able to design rocket ships, or you may be a nurse practitioner, or you may be a surgeon, but you can't manage your own money. You're too dumb for that. Here's a Dalbar study that says the average investor does worse than the average investment by a significant factor. Oh, fake stuff. And so I just said, people, if you come up in the Bogle area, a realm of basically just put in the index funds and let it be, and just don't jump out when the market gets dicey, which it certainly will. Why are you paying people 1.25? It doesn't make any sense. And then they start going, I'm a fiduciary. Just the whole thing's nuts. I said, you don't need to do this. You're not put on this world to freaking slave away some crappy old corporate job. And I started getting such positive feedback on that. I said, man, there's an opportunity. And I was going to keep doing it anyway, but it's like, this is making a difference. You should see the emails I get. It's like it's wonderful, man. I threw a little bit of my love of Jesus in there, to say, hey, Jesus loves you. God loves you. Jesus sent his only son to die for you. And here's some thoughts about, your mission on this earth isn't to serve Caesar, it's to serve the Lord. That doesn't mean you spite Caesar. It just means you give to Caesar what's Caesar, give to God what's God. And what that means is you got to do what you can to serve Caesar, but at some point, you've served him enough. Now it's time to serve God by living a joyful life. And that's not going to be if you're driving, freaking an hour each way to your crappy little job where you're gaining weight, you're stressed out, you're just as bad, man. Life's too good for this. And people are like, well, you need $1 million, 100,000 a year to live on. I'm like, no, you don't. The median household income in the United States is $68,000. That's the median. That means 50% of the people have less, 50% of the people have more. And if you're making $100,000 and you're an employee, we know for a fact 7.65 of that is going right out to the freaking Social Security and Medicare, right? FICA, OASDI, HI, old age, survivor, disability insurance, hospital insurance, 7.65, right out the gate. On top of that, you got income tax for the feds. On top of that, you might have income tax for the state. On top of that, you probably have 401k money you're putting away. On top of that, you have the money to cost to go to work, to clean your, get your clothes dry, clean the whole thing. Your lunches that you're eating at the job. So if you're making $100,000, I say, well, you need $80,000 a year to retire on. You're like, where's that number coming from? Well, it's just what everybody uses. The 4% rule. Where's that number coming from? Well, we know where it's coming from, but why are we using that? Because what everybody uses. It's freaking nuts. So I'm trying to freaking break spells, man. Trying to break spells. It's not that hard to break spells when you show people, hey, this is what you're falling for. Then you read my man Ty Bernicki, who broke the spell for me in 2005 with his reality retirement planning in the Journal for Financial Planning. I said, holy crap. And that's when I became essentially a red pill rooster. I said, now, it wasn't all, and then I had other spells out of break, buy term and invest the rest. Nothing inherently wrong with that, but just no one does it. Whole life insurance is bad. Why? I mean, it could be, sure. It's like saying a firearm is bad. Is a firearm bad? No, it just is. It exists. It's an inanimate entity. It just is. It's neither bad nor good. The value you're putting on this inanimate entity is on you, not the inanimate entity. And annuities, are they bad or good? They're neither. They just are. But we know what happens is they focus on, they being whoever wants to keep you in this cabal of freaking crappy old jobs where you're getting heavy, you're having issues with your spouses, you're not seeing your kids, all this. They want to keep in this debt-ridden society. We know this. So I come on the scene, slowly but surely I'm growing. I'm never going to make 1 million subscribers. I'm never. And that's okay. I mean, there's tons of people, way more subscribers than me, who don't get the same views I get because my subscriber base is more loyal. And I'm okay with that. So YouTube, I'm not on the YouTube algorithm. I'm fine. People find me when they find me. It's just, it's like when I found Jesus, I found Jesus. It just happens, man. I can't be on an algorithm to find Jesus. You're going to find it in the way. Look, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus. But anyway. So now we're sitting here and people are like, oh, I wish you just keep the financial planning. I'm like, but the financial planning is the way to get you to break the spell that you have to stay in your crappy corporate gig in order to freaking retire. But the premise isn't financial planning. The premise is freedom, man. Free yourself from crappy corporate gigs so you can retire, or do a non-crappy corporate gig, even if you make less money. It's freedom is what's at stake. And when you're a slave to the freaking corporate rate, and that's the government too, mind you, it's any kind of employer, or it could be small, but I don't care. When you're a slave to these guys because you have this freaking fear, you're going to do two things. You're going to do, if they mandate the jabba jabba ding dong, on top of that, you're going to have to listen to their stupid CRT stuff. You're going to have to just, you go along to get along. And that is putting you literally at risk, emotionally and physically. And so now we're at a crossroads. Before it's just a crossroads, like I'm trying to bring the truth that says you don't need all this to retire. Now, some of you are so heavy in debt, you got to stay there. And you're going to have to do what they tell you to do, I grant you. A lot of you are not, though. You just don't know. You're ignorant. Because you've never had anyone say, hey, you could do this. Here's why. Some basic logic. Here is why. And then I said, just talk to your elders. Oh man, my man Kwame Brown talks about needing to learn from the elders, and we don't. Talk to your elders. Ask them, are you spending more or less in retirement? You're going to find, I'm telling you, you're going to find that the vast majority say I'm spending a whole lot less. I'm telling you right now. We know this. A whole lot less. We also know for a fact that the vast majority of retirees are quite comfortable. They're content. Are the vast majority freaking loving life? No, but they're content. And contentment is key. Hold on a second. Anyway, the data doesn't lie. It's just the data's there. It's just a lot of people are ignorant on how to find the data. So here comes Josh saying, here's the data. People are like, oh, never thought about it. I get emails all the time, man. It's crazy. It's like the best thing ever. Now it's coming to a head, though, because now we have mandates on various things. You see what I'm saying? And now we are literally at the stage of the most authoritarian governance since the Japanese internment camps. And a lot of people will get mad at me. They say, I wish, they don't. I was listening to my man, Prairie Mark today. He put a good post, and I'm sure he'll go away at some point. I'm not going to ban him because he's never outright, evil towards me. But he challenges me, and I get that. But he put a good post on my thing about Fauci today. He says, basically, why are you so caught up in Fauci, blah, 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 Fauci? Because that is the head of what is all that has gone in this sick society, this guy. And this guy is leading to untold horrors for people to stay in their crappy old jobs and lead lives that are not fulfilling to them because they're so fearful. And when these things get more and more authoritarian, and you have to stay at your crappy little job, and we just look at Israel, what they're going on their fourth vax now to be freaking fully vaccinated. I mean, at some point, you got to recognize that what we've been told since the dawn of this craziness has been completely, no one knows. No one knows. But if your income is contingent on you staying at this job because you're so fearful of running out of money, buddy, kill me. I gotta let him out. If your income is so contingent, but you don't know why it's contingent, just because you think that you don't have the ability to leave, and now they're mandating you put something into your body that goes against every grain in your soul, we have a problem. That's not freedom, man. That's bowing to the corporate titans. And I don't want you to bow to the corporate titans when I started my channel in 2018. I don't want you to bow to the corporate titans when it came to have to follow CRT crap. And I don't want in the Black Lives Matter crap. And I don't want you to have to bow to the corporate titans here either. I want you to be free to live the life that you are put on this earth to do. I don't know what it is. But bowing to your cubicle because you're saying I got to go on my 2-week vacation and I don't have enough for whatever. That might be it might be true to you. I don't know. But to use that as a default, that's a problem. I want you to breathe freely on your own choice. And if you run the numbers and you have to stay at your gig, that sucks. But that's on you. That means you spend too much money. There's no other way around that. And now when you made your bed, you got to lay in it. But for a lot of people, it's not the case. It's just not the case. They have FU money without knowing they have FU money. And if I can do my little part to say you can be free. And look, I don't care what you do. If you want the jabba jabba ding dong, I don't care. I don't care. But when people mandate that you do things against your own religious interests, against your own, you control your body. This is it. Your body, your choice. If your body is being forced to do things against your will, you've lost all freedom. You've lost all freedom. Yes, you have. And if you say, well, I have to do it because my corporate job's mandating, I'm like, you have to keep your corporate job. You're like, yes, because I need, Fidelity scares me about healthcare. Genworth scares me about long-term care. The Dalbar study, the financial advisor scared me about investments. I hear Robert Kiyosaki and all the people, the next crash is coming, all this stuff. I'm like thinking, it all comes down to cash flow. Oh, Dave Ramsey, reverse mortgages are a scam. Are you going to move anytime? No. Do you have kids? No. Okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you know what you're spending? What's your budgeting? No. Well, I do spend a lot of lunch. I spend a lot on lunch. I go to Outback every day for lunch. How much does that cost you? $15 and a $5 tip, and you're doing that every day? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. It's neither good for you on the belly. It's certainly not good on the budget either. How much you spend on gas? How much you spend on dry cleaning? How much you spending on this, that, the other? I tell you, man. And then when you start to see it, you're just like, ooh, we're going red pill rooster. We're saying, maybe I don't need all that. Maybe I can downsize my job. Maybe I don't need to go into the city to work for a CPA firm. Maybe there's a local guy here who could use my help, pay me less, but I can save some serious money from all that heavy driving, and I can just go here and make $15 an hour as opposed to 100,000 down there. But I don't really need the income, just need the health insurance. Maybe I can get on Obamacare. Maybe. That's what my job is, to bring you to the freedom to make this decision on your own, as opposed to having a decision made for you, especially when it comes to being forced to put stuff in your body you don't want. I don't know how people don't see how this is not good. Again, if you want to make that choice for yourself, that's fine. I got no problem with that. I talk to people who've been vaxxed all the time. It doesn't bother me in the least, as long as they chose. If you're forced to be chose to do this, though, that's not good, man. That's bad. And if you're forced to be chosen, you do it because you have this fear, this that's not justified. That's not only bad, that's bad on you because you haven't taken the time to think for yourself. And that's where I want to break the spells. Anyway, I just want to give you some background. I'm not going to change. You don't have to follow me. I've lost many viewers, many followers. I've lost clients. I've even started last year. Had a wonderful couple up in Minnesota. I enjoyed them immensely. But they were very angry at my skepticism of doing various things into my body. That is, I don't want to go down there. But I was just like, and they said, well, they couldn't. And I just had a guy email me today. I said, that's fine. You do what you got to do. I don't care. I've gained people too, mind you. It's not like it's a one-way street. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care. I got to do what I got to do, and the rest will take care of itself because I believe in God. And now the rest will take care of itself. Might not be with money in this world, but I don't believe in this world as a future. The world of the future is with the big guy upstairs. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Will I be like Jonah? You know what I'm saying? Will I be like Job? I don't know. Will I have to suffer like Peter? Be crucified upside down? I don't know. No one knows. But at the end of the day, my faith says I'm doing the right thing. Just keep doing the right thing, and the rest will fall into play. However it happens, I don't know. Just, I mean, for the love of me, I can't tell you how many. It's nuts to me. I mean, the financial success I've had since I've started this channel has been insane. The problem with that then is you start saying, I got to keep the channel for financial success more than what I started the channel for, which is to help people with their accomplishing their own freedom goals. The drawback, frankly, is this is by far and away my biggest audience, my biggest voice. So if I ever go over and violate the freedom, I could lose that. If I ever go away and violate that, where I get kaboom on here, I could lose the voice that is helping people. So I have to play that fine line, if that makes sense. But I'm going to do so in the way that I can, with trying to maintain the issue that we've got to preach freedom. Individual liberty is nothing more. Finnegan. All right, so let me get this dog out of here. God bless. Love you guys. I appreciate any comments. Thanks now.